I got my coffee, but I do not have a starfish. Which just reminds me that my mom always decorated the bathrooms with like sea-based and themed things. So there would probably be a starfish and some anemones and stuff like that in the bathroom. Anyways, welcome back to the channel, everyone. We're moving on. Prince, Starfish, and Coffee. I got no idea what this could possibly be about starfish and coffee. I don't know. I've heard of Starbucks, but not starfish.
Please clap.
I'm reaching on that one, I'll admit. Okay, let's go and listen to the song. We'll talk about it after. Here we go. Okay, it's so loud.
Maple syrup jam, butterscotch clouds and a tangerine. Maple syrup jam, oh. It's for worthy cause. Gone, sit. I keep saying.
I mean, it's no Alan's Psychedelic Breakfast. I think that's what it was called. But it's in there. Okay. Prince's singing and the general groove of it, it's catchy. It's catchy, right? Starfish and coffee. It has a nice melody to it. He sings it well. It's nice on that end. I'm trying to figure out the abstract stuff that's happening behind that. The backwards, whatever sound is going on, that's just... And then, I can't even tell you what. I really can't. I guess keyboards of some sort. There's like another sound that's just constantly happening in the back after the first chorus. And it almost sounds like parts of an orchestra, but super way in the back of the room and not really playing. It sounds like when you hear music, when you're walking down a street in this city and you hear music 2 blocks away. Like, you know there's music happening, but you can't really hear it. I kind of hear that in the back of this track. So it's like there's something back there, but I can't quite tell you what it is. I can tell it's music, obviously, but I can't quite tell you what it is. The song doesn't stick around long enough to really make an impact, I guess, for me one way or the other. I can't say that I particularly care for it. I don't dislike it, but it's kind of a nothing burger. I don't feel anything after listening to it. Unlike the other tracks on this album so far. And I don't know what it means yet. It is a little psychedelic, especially with the lyrics, especially the whatever's happening. I guess you won't understand until, well, she said you gotta open your mind. Let's see if we can figure this one out together. It was 7:45. We were all in line to greet the teacher, Miss Kathleen. And that big drum that kind of happens. It's like it's feathering the kick drum in the back, too. First was Kevin, then came Lucy. Third in line was me. All of us were ordinary compared to Cynthia Rose. She always stood at the back of the line, a smile beneath her nose. Her favorite number was 20, and every single day, if you asked her what she had for breakfast, this is what she'd say. Starfish and coffee, maple syrup and jam, butterscotch clouds and a tangerine, and a side order of ham. And if you set your mind free, baby, maybe you'd understand starfish and coffee, maple syrup and jam. So like I said, obviously there's a psychedelic element to this. To me, this is kind of reminiscent of the Beatles right here. Cynthia wore the prettiest dress with different color socks. Sometimes I wondered if the mates were in her lunchbox. Me and Lucy opened it when Cynthia wasn't around. Lucy cried. I almost died. You know what we found? Well, they found exactly... Listen, she was just being straight up with them. She wasn't kidding. Yeah, that's what's in her lunchbox. Cynthia had a happy face just like the one she draws on every wall in every school, but it's all right. It's for a worthy cause. Go on, Cynthia. Keep singing. So this is how I view it. And maybe I'm reading it too literally. I think that Cynthia is a trendsetter. I think that she's perhaps different from the rest of everybody else, and so they looked at her differently, but she always had a smile, she always had style, and they kind of asked her like, hey, what's your secret? Like, what's your deal? And she, of course, gave them this answer. They were like, nah, and then they went and snuck into her lunchbox, and they were like, oh, okay, we get it now. So Maybe that's what it's about, but let's dive into this Wikipedia page. It says, it's based on the true story of a girl named Cynthia Rose that went to the same school as Susanna and Wendy Malvoin. Susanna, Prince's girlfriend at the time, would receive a writing credit for the lyrics on the track due to the story she told of Cynthia. It says they would tell each other stories of their childhood memories. At one point, Susanna brought forward a story of Cynthia Rose. Cynthia was often ignored by classmates, but Susanna took a special interest in learning more about her. Whenever Cynthia was asked what she had for breakfast, her response was often starfish and pee-pee. Susanna would explain this. I never understood the combo meal. Furthermore, as a consequence, nobody else did. Here it seemed like the deal breaker for most kids. Above all, the kids in our class had no interest in how Cynthia came to get her morning breakfast. I considered it tender and funny and listened to her tell me anything she wanted to say, whether it was firmly planted on Earth or from her planet of tender-hearted people who love numbers and draw smiley faces. Cynthia was just living in a different world. Prince had become so fascinated with the story, he felt he had to make it into a song. And one condition, replacing the phrase pee-pee with coffee. And then that's where it went from there. I don't know what she was actually having for breakfast, but there you go. Let me know what you guys thought of the track in the comments down below. Follow me over on Twitter, support the channel, and Patreon. Thank you so much for being here. Come back tomorrow, and I will see you all later. Bye.